For years, buying a new iPhone was simple. Every September, Apple announced a new lineup, you picked your price tier, and that was that. But for the upcoming Apple smartphone generation, that reliable, decade-long release tradition has cracked right down the middle. Apple has officially divided the 2026 and 2027 iPhone family into two completely separate launch windows, months apart. As this Gantt chart shows, the fall 2026 window is reserved strictly for the high-end, the iPhone 18 Pro, Pro Max, and a brand new foldable Ultra. Meanwhile, the base-tier iPhone 18 and 18e models are pushed all the way to spring 2027. Because of this split, you can no longer buy on autopilot. You have to map your purchase timeline directly to the specific hardware features you actually need. The driver behind this delay comes down to one constraint: the massive computational power required to run Apple Intelligence directly on your device. Processing local AI relies heavily on device memory. Historically, Apple has kept RAM low to protect their profit margins, but AI demands are forcing their hand. To manage costs, Apple is fragmenting memory capacities across the new devices. This means specific, advanced software features are now physically locked behind different hardware tiers. If you don't understand these new memory tiers before you buy, you risk spending $1,000 on a phone that can't run the latest software on day one. Let's look at the first option. If you are a budget-conscious buyer, the delayed spring 2027 iPhone 18 and 18e are your default choices. The primary hardware upgrade for this tier is a bump in memory, moving from 8 to 9 gigabytes of RAM. That extra gigabyte ensures your device will have access to the standard Apple Intelligence features rolling out in iOS 27. The trade-off is significant. You have to wait an extra 6 months, and reports indicate you'll still face a price hike when they finally launch. Looking at the first column of this matrix, it shows that 9 gigabytes of RAM is physically insufficient to support the most advanced on-device Siri capabilities found in the Pro models. The base iPhone is no longer a no-compromise device. It is now strictly a delayed, entry-level AI experience. If you refuse to compromise on software features or camera performance, your path points to the fall 2026 iPhone 18 Pro. The Pro secures its premium status through sheer internal hardware, 12 gigabytes of RAM and the highly efficient 2nm A20 Pro chip. To handle the intense heat generated by running local AI, Apple had to adopt a complex new internal architecture called WMCM packaging. Rather than stacking the memory directly on top of the processor, they moved the RAM chips to the side, creating better cooling channels that prevent the phone from overheating during heavy workloads. This internal brute force engineering allows the Pro to run the absolute highest tier of local AI without throttling performance. When added to our matrix, you can see the stark difference in capability compared to the base model. The Pro is the safest bet for power users. Just know that the premium you are paying is almost entirely for internal memory and cooling, not a new external design. That brings us to the absolute wild card of the fall 2026 launch. With an expected starting price hovering around $2,000 and potentially reaching $2,400, Apple is establishing an entirely new ultra-premium tier. As this diagram shows, the primary draw justifying that cost is a massive 7.8-inch screen with a 4:3 aspect ratio. It effectively puts an iPad mini right in your pocket. Achieving this required specialized engineering, specifically a variable thickness glass hinge that lets the device sit at an incredibly thin 4.5 millimeters when open. But hitting that slim profile requires a major hardware sacrifice: the complete removal of the optical telephoto camera lens. The second sacrifice is biometric. Due to space constraints, Apple is ditching Face ID on the Ultra and reverting to a side-button Touch ID sensor. Completing our matrix, the Ultra stands completely apart from the rest of the lineup. Ultimately, the Ultra forces you to decide if having a folding tablet-sized display is worth paying double, while reverting to older biometric technology and losing premium cameras. To make the right choice, look at this decision tree and ask yourself, what is your primary smartphone bottleneck today? Let's address the productivity-focused power user first. If uncompromised processing power and reliable full-featured camera arrays are paramount for your daily work, your path is clear. You should purchase the iPhone 18 Pro in the fall. Next, let's look at the bleeding edge user. If your main goal is replacing an iPad mini for massive screen real estate and you have an unlimited budget to work with, you finally have a native option. You should buy the iPhone Ultra, provided you are willing to accept the repairability risks and camera limitations of a first-generation product. Finally, we have the pragmatic, value-conscious user. If budget is a concern and you want a reliable phone running Apple Intelligence without overheating, patience is your strategy. Hold on to your current device and wait until spring 2027 for the standard iPhone 18. If you ignore this new, highly segmented reality and buy blindly based on old September habits, you are virtually guaranteeing buyer's remorse.